What's up, bro?
What's going on, brother?
Thanks for doing this.
Thanks for having me.
What's new?
What do you know? Life. I don't know. Just moved, actually. I just moved.
New house?
New apartment, actually.
Yeah, because they're doing the pool next door right now.
Yeah. Oh, they're doing the pool?
Yeah.
You probably know more than I do.
I keep track of everything and make sure they work.
Yeah, there you go. Thank you.
I mean, but you know what's crazy? Well, I'm training most of the day, but
Yeah.
I haven't feel any construction noise or anything at all since they started. So it's great for me.
Amazing. I love to hear it.
No, it's been pretty chill, and then they're pretty good with times and everything. So
Yeah.
don't even trip about it.
Great.
I'm good.
Great.
I'm good.
I know. I went to the house and it looked like a disaster. So I was like,
Dude.
bro, it's
Wait.
not even. You might as well tear the whole house down.
They turned they just left like few bones.
I know.
I didn't know where they're doing the pool.
Yeah.
That was the deck.
Yeah.
It's a big party, pretty much.
Yeah.
The deck make it look smaller
Yeah.
when I saw it the first time, but now that it's fully open,
It's huge.
it's actually a huge space.
Yeah.
What are you doing on the little like kind of like mountain going down? There is a stage like that.
I'm just gonna keep it. Yeah. Garden, plants, grow some stuff.
You should do like a zigzag garden in there.
That'd be beautiful. My
That'd be
girlfriend wants
sick.
to garden, so I'll have her do some stuff.
This guy right here is the guru of gardens.
Guru of gardens. There
I can
go.
show you pictures of my old house. We had like arugula, like 3 feet tall, tomatoes. We have like, but motherfucking raccoons, dude.
Oh, they eat it all.
They don't eat it. That's the worst part. Like if they eat it, I can share with the motherfuckers the food. But
Yeah.
they get the worms from the soil, and the plants just fall to the ground, and everything gets fucked up. So it's not like it would be good at least if they eat it.
Yeah.
They just dig holes
tear it
and
up.
everything fall apart.
Oh God.
That hurt me because there was a point that it was like almost 10 rows. It was like every plant you can imagine. I used to do full-on salads out of it, and those fuckers, dude, they're mean little fuckers.
The damn raccoons.
I got a cage that the animal control gave me. I put ribeyes on it. Nothing. It's almost like they just like to do vandalism.
They know they're doing something wrong.
And I put timer in late at night, try to catch them with my BB gun. Nothing. They're smart. They're smarter than a fucking dog. They know what they're doing.
They're some criminals.
I know, man. What's new with you? How many? You've been doing crazy videos?
Doing some crazy videos. So we built a roller coaster in the house. We built a water park in the house. Pretty much, I tore up my entire house to the point where we couldn't film it anymore, which is why we're like renovating it now. So that was the goal: tear up the house for the videos, renovate it, and then make it nice.
That's a great idea. If you're gonna renovate it anyways, why not?
You should see the house now. There's no wall standing.
There's
no
nothing. Because every time my windows goes straight to your house,
Yeah.
it's like,
Yeah.
I mean, there's nothing you can do.
So we took advantage of that opportunity to be able to like tear apart my house, film videos, do things that people would never do to their house. Pretty much like try to, shock people to the fact that, this is something that most people would never do to their actual house. Luckily, we're able to renovate it after, and then now that house is getting renovated, we got another house to do the same thing. So we're out in Tustin now, tearing up another house.
Oh, okay. Once this is renovated, you're not doing nothing.
I'm gonna live in that once it's done. Yeah.
Okay, I was like, fuck, renovate it to fuck it up.
No.
again? That would be crazy.
I'm gonna renovate it to live in it, but we obviously have no house right now to film in, so we actually got another house in Tustin to also, tear it up and then film it. So
There was one video that I sit down with Nacho,
yeah,
and he just caught my attention, and I watched the entire thing. When you guys
let's
did the stations of the restaurants, it was the
Yeah.
Starbucks,
Yeah.
the McDonald's,
Pizza Hut.
and the Pizza Hut.
Yeah.
I've been in the house,
Yeah.
but it was like you make a little hole in the wall,
Yeah.
and it was like a secret room
Yeah.
behind where that was. Like how you did that? Because it looked like you were in a different country.
Yeah. We pretty much found ways to the house in general was built really weird. It's a super old house built in the 60s. There's walls that go to nothing. So we try to put a little hole and look through it and try to see if there's something behind it. Sometimes it was another room, or sometimes it was just an empty space. We break the wall, we get inside.
But you will seal it with plywoods to
Yeah.
make it. Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Because
so we'll cover the door up. we'll drywall it, make it look like it wasn't there, and then we'll just pretty much make that room into a secret room.
Because when I was watching that, I was like, "There's no way." There was a point I was like, "There's no way that's the house," because I've been in the house,
Yeah.
and that just doesn't make sense. But
Yeah.
that video was fucking crazy. I was
Thank
like, "Holy fuck!" And he was like, and then Nacho Nelly was like, "Can we do something like that?" I'm like, "Fuck no! You're not touching my house to do that."
I don't want to know how many kids have asked their parents to do some shit that we're doing.
Nacho asked me like, "Can I do something like that in my room?" I was like, "No, dude."
Yeah, that's why it's important for me, at least, to be. I mean, we like to do crazy things for the videos and whatever, but also to be a role model, to not do, or act stupid, or to say things that kids would ever repeat, because at the end of the day, they're heavily influenced by what they're watching. And, luckily, no kid is just going to go up to their house and start breaking holes, hopefully.
Right.
But, I try to keep it positive for the kids to be able to inspire them.
Out of most of the guys that get to your level of like doing something like that and blew up the day you're one of the guys that I'm, as a dad from the outside, I'm like, fuck, if my kids are watching YouTube all day, that's something that I can be like, that's a safe thing to watch. That's cool. It's like, it's interesting, but most YouTubers, they're just saying crazy shit. They're getting too like, kind of like gangsters in a way, but they're not real. They're not living their real life like that. So it's like the influence that some of them are putting out there is kind of like bad for the kids coming up, because me as a kid, everybody used to like looking up growing up. I'm like, I'm so glad I look up to the guys I look up, and now they're my friends, and because it's just the influence was right. Most of the people is just throwing so much negativity and shit that is like, kids are watching. I mean, none of us are perfect. We do some fucked up shit here and there, but at the end of the day, it's like figured it out how to make it the best we can.
Yeah, I think I have a responsibility to be able to try to inspire the youth, but also be positive and make things fun. We try to keep it light, keep it fun, and it's a place where kids can watch and feel like inspired. There's a few shows I look up to, like Phineas and Ferb. I don't know if you ever watched that show.
I love Phineas and Ferb.
But I try to look at it like that, where it's two guys having fun, doing things that most kids would dream of doing, and cutting out all the negative things, because like you said, kids watch it, they get influenced by it, and unfortunately, a lot of people that are in the position that I'm in, they take it for granted, and they'll start doing things that they might do in their regular life that they shouldn't show, or they'll say things that they shouldn't say, because there's a whole like argument where I've seen it a million times, where a YouTuber or a creator gets big, gets popular fast, and they also grow up, and then they also think, okay, cool, now I'm going to act, my age on camera. But at the end of the day, I can't start, swearing and drinking alcohol and doing things that, kids are not going to, shouldn't be able to see just yet,
I mean, it's also what's the audience that you get, right? Even for me as a fighter, I got older audience probably, most likely, but there's still like when I go back home, it's more the kids, the one that they get crazy when they see me, and I'm like, and that make me put things in perspective. I'm like, okay, the things that I say or I do, and I don't do it in front of my kids, maybe it's better not to put it out there all the time. And I cuss a lot, but just naturally.
Yeah,
but
it's authentic to you as well.
And it's almost like in the fighting world, I'm not gonna be nice to my opponent in a way, so I gotta be not a dick, but keep it a little more real, but it's still trying to keep it PG in a way, like even if I cuss a little bit, it's not too dangerous for the kids that are watching.
There's a fine line between staying authentic, right, and then also like not being extra to where
crossing the
line
or going against families or the kids or the opponents. I mean,
some people go way too far. I've seen it. I'm sure you've seen it more than I have.
I say like, how you can do that? I mean, posting pictures of wives or saying, I mean, I'm just like, that's just one line. Me as a fighter, I'm like, if someone do that to me, I'm not going to reply online. But I'm going to see you, and the consequences are going to be crazy. I mean,
and that's one thing I commend you for, is to be able to, be a fighter with, on the outside perspective looks like a very, like vulgar, type of thing when you think, oh, a fighter, oh, he's probably super mean. But at the end of the day, that's not all fighters, and I commend you for, being such a, great guy when it comes to it, because at the end of the day, there's a lot of guys that, aren't like that. So
yeah, and sometimes it's like I see myself and I'm like, we already the tough people. We already do
Yeah.
crazy stuff for living. Like it's like, I mean, you did that at the beginning when you started filming. I did some research when we got to meet each other, and at the beginning you were doing like crazy, like you were kind of like jackass and stuff, like
Yeah.
hurting yourself and stuff
Yeah.
like that, and
Yeah.
that's crazy because filming those things is just like you're gonna get hurt most of the time,
Yeah.
and it's like, what was the transition for you from going crazy like that to do
Mhm.
more creative stuff?
Yeah, that's actually funny you say that because I was talking about that today with someone where about a year or two ago I was going down a route of a little bit too crazy where it almost became too dangerous, and I'd find myself, you're always thinking, how can you do better than the last time? How can you go bigger? And when you're doing stunts and you're doing things that are like, painful and you're getting hurt, it's hard to say what's next. How can we go bigger? It's a very like slippery slope. And there was a time actually where it's a vivid like memory in my mind where we were doing a skydive stunt where we pretty much had an old military airplane where it opens in the back where the guys jump out. We got a plane like that. We put a tarp down in the entire plane with like soap to do a slip and slide out the back of the plane. When it's high enough, open the door and then slide out the back of the plane. And I remember just like the plane like just climbing up to altitude, and I was like, bro, what am I doing?
That is insane.
I was like, I really hit me, and I was like, is this worth it? Like, it's just a video, bro. Like, why am I doing this? And I was with the right people; they're professional. But at the end of the day, I was like, this just feels so stupid. Like it's short term. It's cool, and I'm sure it's gonna turn out great. But my life is not worth this video.
I mean, it takes one small mistake.
Yeah, exactly.
You were jumping off the plane with the parachute? Or
Yeah, I had a parachute. Yeah.
Because Travis Persona's style, he jumps with nothing and someone catch him.
That's the definition of taking it far.
Yeah, and because that video just popped up on my IG like a few days ago, and I'm like, he just pop up an energy drink.
He looks like smiling. He's no stress.
Board shorts, white tee, and just jump. I'm like, holy shit! What if the guy can catch you?
Yeah.
I'm sure they're super pro and they will catch you, but
you never know. That's all it takes.
There's a small what if.
Yeah.
And he wasn't jumping in the middle of the ocean. No. They jump like they land on concrete. I'm like, that's a crazy one.
Yeah. So that video in specific put it in perspective that it's not always worth it. And I definitely transitioned after that to saying no more stunts. I broke my ankles twice, and I also was just like, this is no more.
What was the worst injury you got doing the stunts?
Nothing actually. Like it's funny you say that because there's really nothing that we actually filmed that actually hurt me. I cracked my head open once. I got like a basketball hoop. It was so stupid. Just fell and landed on my head. That sucked.
Those are heavy.
The two other times I broke my ankles were pretty much when I was just riding dirt bikes. So really not even video related, but It's in my blood to want to just do crazy shit. And I had to quit that because I broke both my ankles. So I recently toned it down from having like this send it attitude that's anything can happen, or pretty much anything, I'll do anything, was my attitude. Now I'm like, okay, I know I could probably do it and I probably will be fine, but it's not worth just risking it. So
how you start doing all this? It was just like friends filming for fun, or you had like a vision or a dream, like this is what I'm gonna do? Happens like you choose it to happen, or you just like you start doing fun stuff and eventually happen?
Yeah, it was an extremely random scenario to how I got into it. So I grew up in Hawaii. Skating and surfing was like, I wanted to become a professional skateboarder. That was like my everything. I would at the skate park 4 hours every day after school every single day. When I put my mind to something, I tried to go 100% into it. And at the point, it was skateboarding. So I was doing that every single day, surfing for fun here and there. I ended up meeting, I was just surfing in Hawaii at some really random break, and I met this other guy who I'd seen on YouTube before. He was kind of like lifestyle. He filmed surfing, he filmed skateboarding, and it was really random. I had saw him out surfing, and I was like, I went up to him. I was very, I was talkative as a kid. So I was 15 or I was 14. I went up to this guy who I had seen on social media before, and I'm like, are you, Alex? And he's like, yeah. And he was older than me, but he was very nice to me, and he pretty much gave me like, all the time of day. He talked to me. We ended up like hanging out for like 3 or 4 days after that around the island. I showed him around, and I pretty much randomly met this dude who was doing social media for his career. And it kind of sparked something in me to want to pursue it. So I started filming surfing, skateboarding, hiking, cliff jumping, after seeing how he would do it. And I pretty much took it all as an inspiration, did it myself, and then took the same attitude I had towards skateboarding, which was, put every hour on my free time I can into this. And I kind of shifted away from skateboarding, put it all into making videos, and then never looked back since. So
just film everything you do.
Everything, yeah. It's transitioned from filming skateboarding, filming surfing, to then filming stunts, to then filming now more like creative building videos. So it's transitioned from, it's gone tons of different routes, but at the end of the day, it's always just my passion that I didn't know I had for creating videos.
That makes sense. How was for you popping up pretty young? Because some people takes many years until they get older and then they blew up. Like, how was for you getting under the light that early in your life too?
Yeah, it was definitely interesting because at that young of an age, your brain's not fully developed, so you really don't know how to approach it. Luckily, I have a great family who's able to, keep me grounded, because I had friends that were doing it that were going off the rails and, kind of losing it all just by being stupid. So I was lucky to be around great people to, guide me down the right direction, because I've seen people just fall down a path of, just bad things. But there was definitely times where I was young where I would, get distracted, and I would, want to go party, or I'd, want to stay out late. During the week I was still in school, and I used, had some, social media followers. So people are hitting you up to go to this party, go do this, come here. There was a point in my life where I was actually pretty distracted, and I almost felt like my career was like going downhill at an early age, which was like probably 17, just quickly distracted. So luckily, the good people around me told me like, yo, you gotta, cut it out and focus up more. So I listened to them and, did it, still obviously wanted to have fun and stuff, but just took it more serious after that, because at a young age, I just didn't know exactly where it was going to take me. And, I didn't know it would be a career. And luckily I focused up, and, I'm here now. So,
that's a really tricky part. Like, it's really fun at the beginning. It's almost like you can be very creative and you can try a lot of crazy stuff. But once you hit the spotlight, a lot of people can go south. A lot of people can be like, oh, I'm cool now. I'm on top of the world. I can do whatever I want and get away with. But there's a fine line to, like, you went so south that you pretty much in a way done. No one wanna be near you. No one wanna like collab with you or work with you, and no one teach you how to deal with fame, because we all start going one way. Like, we have big dreams. We wanna have money. We wanna have all this, but then becomes like, you get to that point that is like, okay, I made it, but now you gotta maintain that.
Yeah,
you gotta, like,
that's the hardest part.
That's the hardest part. Like, stay on that top of the hill and keep jumping, keep climbing. And I see it a lot with fighters. Like, they get to a point like they're hungry. They're taking like short notice fights. They're like, I want it. But once they get it, they just go down the rabbit hole of like, I can do whatever I want. Yeah. I'm cool. I got money. But you can really hurt your whole life by going 3 months crazy, 4 months crazy, because you just mistake after mistake after mistake, and then it's all is downhill. Yeah. So, having a good family, like, I talk to your parents, I see them all the time, and just having a good circle that can, like, hey, keep it up. Yeah. Because it's so easy to just say, like, fuck it, and just go crazy.
Yeah. You've been fighting your whole life, right? So was there ever a point in your life where you felt like, you had to kind of lock back in and focus up?
When I had to get off Ecuador, because in Ecuador, it's comfy. Like, my family's there, they help you, you go train, but everybody's like, hey, there's a wedding, there's a birthday party, there's this, there's that. And back then in Ecuador, there wasn't no infrastructure for MMA. It wasn't like, like, if you want to be a soccer player, there's everything. There's the coaches, teams, and if you're married to a big team, they have the doctors, the massage guys, everything, right? And eventually they sell you to a bigger team in Europe or any country that have big soccer. But for MMA, there's nothing like that. So my first 3 fights in the UFC, I was living in Ecuador, and I won 1 and lose 2. So they're like, hey, dude, you're good. We like you, but I mean, we will give you one more chance, but you lose your fourth one, and that's it for you. And this is
Wow.
back in, I mean, 2016, 2017.
Mhm.
So I was young,
Yeah.
and it was a while ago. So when I lost in London, I decided to just don't go back home, change my flight to California, and find a gym, because I wasn't on focus or partying or doing stuff that hurt my career, but I didn't had the people that push my career
Yeah.
forward. So I was just like, it's almost the same.
Yeah.
I was hurting myself regardless because I had nothing back home. So I moved to the States by myself, find a gym. I literally came back home and just packed my bags
Wow.
and just have to tell my wife and kids like, hey, I see you guys
Wow.
maybe in a year, because I couldn't bring them right away because there's no money, there's no sponsors, nothing. So I came by myself. I I started like working in the gym, cleaning the gym, teaching classes,
Wow.
and a year later I get my fourth fight, and then it was all the pressure in the world. You won, and you can go back home and bring your family. You lose, and thank you for everything.
Wow.
Go.
Yeah, it's a cutthroat industry.
Exactly. Just go and work the farm with your dad, something like that. So
Yeah.
that back then for me was pretty much what shaped my whole life and career. I was like, that year by myself here was crazy. I mean,
Yeah.
didn't saw my kids, didn't saw my wife, but I was like, there's nothing else I can do. That was it. If I do everything right, there's still chances you don't win this fight. So I was just like, put everything,
Yeah.
and eventually happened. So move all the family after that win, and I start from zero in the US. And I see it from in all careers. Like, I'm like, when people start like complaining or like, oh, this is too hard, I'm like, I mean, what else you want to do? It's either
Yeah.
that or 100% fail. So might as well give it a shot.
Yeah, I mean, you won't make it unless you give it your all. You know,
Be-
you have to have the grit. You have to be able to go through the days where it ain't fun. It's not gonna be pretty. You know.
And in fighting, it's like every year there's a new generation.
Mhm.
Every other month there's a new kid. There's kids now, they're trained since they're like 3 though.
Yeah.
By the time they're 15, they're like fully professionals. I mean, I'm sure it's the same in your industry.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
you do fun videos, but
Yeah.
there's 100 guys doing fun videos. So
People are hungrier for your spot. You know, or they're coming for your spot, and you have to be able hungrier than them. You know. So for me as well, there's creators that want it. You know, and I have to make sure that I'm keeping sure that I'm hungry and I want it, because otherwise, 100 other kids are gonna want it. You know, and if I start to let loose and slack off, then they're just gonna come right in.
someone else is gonna do better videos, more
Yeah.
fun. Like, how you handle that part, like, to stay creative enough but don't overdo it and it's still fun.
Yeah. How do I?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I try to balance it. I try not to overwork myself. A lot of creators will post a video every single week. I do it every other week because I think there's a fine balance between work and like just being healthy and having life. And to me, I've gone through it all where I would work 7 days a week, every day, 12 hours a day to try to get as much as I could out of the time. But there comes to a point where it's not a it's not a sprint, it's a marathon. And if I want to do this for years to come, I can't treat it like a sprint and grind, every single day, 12 hours a day, because I'm going to burn out. And in 1 year, I'm not going to want to do it anymore. So, there's definitely like two ways to look at it, because in the beginning, it was all about grinding every single day. Right. Now it's more about maintaining. And probably with fighting, if you were in fight camp every day of the year, 365 days a year, you would probably burn out. You'd 100%. Be like, bro, I can't do this anymore. So for me, it's important I take the rest. So I post a little bit less than most people, but I try to put 2 times more quality into that video. So instead of doing 4 videos, I do 2 that are, 2 times as good. So that's the way I approach it, because I want to be able to spend time with my girlfriend, with my family, hang out with my friends on the weekend. And if I'm just constantly consumed with it, I know for a fact I will get burnt out, and this will be a short-lived career. And right. In a year or two, I'm going to not want to do it anymore. And I think there's a beauty to what I do, and I'm sure what you do is you get to do what you love for work. And, you kind of really want to make sure it stays fun, because you picked this career, you love it. And for me, it's like I would hate to hate this job.
Yeah, you will definitely burn the candle if you don't have that like in-between moments. Like,
yeah.
what you do on your on on the time that you're not filming, the time that you're not creating something? What makes you happy to do?
Spend time with my girlfriend. Spend time with my mom and dad. I'm lucky they're close by. And then I like to still ride bikes, even though I've gotten hurt. 4 times in the last year. But I think there's things that will bring me passion, whether they're like dangerous or not. You have one life, and I'll still do those things with a different and safer approach. But yeah, riding bikes, going in the ocean, spending time with girlfriend and family, and trying to get back into skateboarding. After the broken ankles, it's not, it doesn't feel the same. So trying to.
What you skate? You do more street or you like bowls?
Bowls, yeah.
Bowls are fun.
So I saw you with Tony Hawk, but they're big inspiration. Transition, vert ramps, all that stuff is what I grew up doing.
Crazy.
So
that ramp is crazy.
Yeah.
I saw him live and I was like,
I can't imagine.
One thing is watching him on a video. I mean, he's flying and everything.
Yeah.
But when you're live and you see him flying 6-7 foot with spins and everything, you're like, holy! Like he's like a bird. He's a true bird. Like the way he fly, the way when he's sanded, is like you're like, holy shit.
And the age he does it at this point is unreal.
I asked him, I'm like, how? I mean, there's a point that you get older. We all get older. I'm like, how? Because his body looks so in one part. Like he's athletic still. He's still like moving fast. I'm like, what? Because even I asked for my own. I'm like, what's your like the secret sauce? Like, what you doing? It's like, dude, I just do this every day.
Yeah.
I just don't stop doing it because if I stop doing it, my body will get raw. So I keep the rust away from them. I'm like, wow. I mean that makes sense. I mean, for me, just keep training to evolve, get better, and I'm sure in the creating side, keep thinking how to make it cooler. But I'm like, watching him live was like any kid from the 90s. I was just like, I sit down and watch him. I was like, holy shit, you can skate still that good without hurting yourself. And then he tells you like, oh, I have like surgery here, surgery there. I broke this, I broke that. I'm like, because you fall from that thing, you're falling 30 feet on wood, which is like concrete. I was like, holy shit. What type of dirt? Like a big dirt bike?
Yeah.
Like the full size?
Yeah.
Holy shit.
Yeah. I just got into it 2 years ago, so I didn't grow up doing it, but as I skated and surfed my whole life, I was always looking for something new. So the dirt biking was like extremely different for me and a ton of fun to invest my time into. So that's one of those sports where it's not a matter of like if you're going to get hurt, it's when you're going to get hurt. So, before I got severely hurt, I kind of had to stop doing it. So I do it like a lot, safer now.
Where you go for that?
We'll go to any trails. We'll go to like Laguna for trails, or we'll go to the dirt bike tracks like Lake Elsinore, Paula. It's like the farther spots.
Did you jump high on those?
I'll show you some videos after. Yeah, I took the same mentality that I had with skateboarding, which was like, I'm going to get really good really fast, and with dirt biking. And sometimes those don't go well together. And getting really good really fast on a dirt bike is pretty dangerous. So
I mean, they're heavy.
Yeah.
I'm guessing I fall from regular bikes before.
Yeah.
It's hard.
Yeah, it's bad.
I grew up in a small town. It's like farm town, and there was like a group of guys that they would do dirt bike and compete at a lower level, and I was just like, I would beg my parents like, please give me a dirt bike, and they were like, dude, you will be dead in a week. And maybe I'm glad they never did it because I was really the guy that if an older guy told me like, go, just send it, go full blast up. I might just because and those things are heavy as fuck. You fall on those, you're pretty much done.
Oh yeah,
260
pounds heavier, double my weight almost. So.
But it's a sick sport. I mean, maybe one day I give it a try.
Yeah, I swear in the last week, at least from following you on Instagram, you hung out with Tony Hawk and Kelly Slater.
We went to surf to the pool with Tony.
That's like the two goats, and it's crazy to see it happen at the same time.
I mean, I'm still. Like me and Kelly, we've been friends for a few years now. I got to meet Tony recently, but those are the guys that even if now we talk over the phone or whatever, I'm still feeling weird every time I talk to them. I'm like,
see that on your phone when it pops up. You're like what?
I was driving with this guy back, and Tony sent me like the pictures from the last surf trip in the ranch, and I was just like, dude, Tony just texted me. And I'm older.
Seems fake. It's like a fake name. You don't believe that person's real because it's
getting to talk to the guy, getting just to like hang out with him. I was just telling myself like what, like, is this a reality? I'm like, that's fucking Tony Hawk. I mean, I was 10 years ago, I was playing the game and thinking I would never get to meet him in real life. And then you're like hanging out with him, skating with him, and I remember when we went to the ramp, he was like, I did like a small trick and I landed and he pulled his phone. He's like, come on, you want to do it again? I was like, for you, dude? If you tell me right now to jump the big ramp, I might do it.
I might do it.
But I was like, life can be so cool like that. Like you just work hard enough that you get to be in positions like you never thought you would be. Like I'm sure you get to meet crazy people too. And it's like, are you fucking real? Like, is this really happening right now?
Yeah. I mean, from your career and from everything you've experienced, what's one thing that you felt like has stood out to you where it's like, wow, what I just did brought me here. How is that even possible?
I mean, just getting to meet your idols, like it's just, and not just met them, but having a relationship with them, getting to like talk to them or pick up their minds. Like when I was younger, like I would say like 5 years ago, I get to meet Kelly and we started hanging out. Eventually we surf one in Trestle. And I was just like, dude, like, you're probably one of the healthiest athletes out there. Like, what are you doing? Like, and then he would explain me some nutrition things. Like, some days just do more juices or smoothies. Don't be eating all the time. He's big into fasting. So I'm always asking questions. I'm like, if you're this good for this long, what you been doing? Yeah. Like, I know you're working hard. I know also you're probably a gifted athlete and everything, but there gotta be something that you're doing better than other guys. And
if you're the number one in your sport, what are you doing? How are you doing it?
Exactly. And if you get to meet them, it's like, what are you doing better? Like, what's your nutrition looks like? What's your recovery looks like? And I'm like, I can sit down and just make 1,000 questions about how I can get myself get better by picking up your mind. And that's something that I feel like helping a lot in the last few years, because I'm always looking for an answer. Like, even if things are going really well in my life, I'm always like, what are you doing better than me or anybody else? Because definitely you're doing better than everybody. And they're older too, and they keep killing it. So just get to ask a lot of questions all the time. That helps.
Yeah, I mean, whether you're a surfer, skateboarder, fighter, there's something to learn from, all types of people. Even if you're not even an athlete, I think you can learn something from anyone. Someone doing well in their career, someone that's excelled, more than, you've seen. There's always something to learn, and that's cool. You're able to ask them. I
mean, to me, it's just like mind blowing getting to like get to ask those questions and be like, why and how, and then the coolest person, like, you get to like just pick someone like that minds is just like, it's gonna elevate you to just do better on your own.
Yep, it's amazing.
When was that fight that you get in? Because that was when the TikTok versus TikTok versus YouTube.
Yeah, that's funny you say that. I sometimes forget it even happens, and then someone will remember. I'm like, oh, I did do that. It doesn't feel like the same life. Yeah, so it was. They did a boxing event. Kind of. I mean, in the earlier days of creators and influencers and YouTubers getting into the fighting, I think now there's a whole bunch of it going on. There's tons of arguments if it's good or bad, whatever. They had this event where it was YouTubers versus TikTokers. This like supposed to be this mega event. And they came to me with like, when I saw that, I was like, oh, that's dope. I'm definitely going to watch that. I'll pay-per-view that shit. I'll watch it, And then they hit me up for it. And I was like, oh, shit. And I've never once thought of fighting. I've never even fought before. I'm a lover, not a fighter, as my parents have always said. I've never felt like, using my fist to like solve a problem. That's just who I am. I just don't like confrontation and whatnot. So to me, it was like instant in my mind. I was like, nah, there's no way. And then, more thinking about it, I was like, but, when will I ever get an opportunity like this ever again? Right. If I've never, ever thought of fighting, now I'm being asked to fight in some event. And I'm always down to try new things. That's always, been something that I look forward to doing, is to like doing something that I never thought I would do. And something like boxing or even getting in the ring is something that most people would never dare to do, myself before this. And I was like, what if I did it, did something that I never thought I would do, and not expecting any results, because who knows? what could happen. And I had like I think like a month and a half notice, which was, you know,
That's short notice.
to be able to learn how to fight, not even to just warm up, you know, like I had to learn how to fight. I remember like there's videos because we were recording everything just to like learn, but I found some people in my town that were super good, fun to be around and just educated on, you know, the sport of boxing. And the first day to the last day, like you'll watch the first day, like they're like, okay, you get your hand and you throw it like this. That's a jab. Okay. This, you know, this is a hook. Literally learning the you know, pretty much day one of fighting to then probably like 45 days later, stepping in the ring. So very hard to actually learn the sport of, you know, fighting.
I mean, one thing is like going for fun to boxing and eventually get better.
Yeah.
You went straight to fight camp.
Yeah.
How was handling that part?
I went from never working out to working out twice a day, which is brutal. And I was also still filming videos. I had, you know, boxing training and fighting training is not like just going to the gym and lifting weights. You know, they're like, you know, it's, I would say 10 times hard, the type of workouts you're doing. And the cardio that you don't even realize, and the amount of like cardio it takes to actually fight, and you cannot breathe. You're like out of breath. Your body hurts. I pretty much went through all that, and it taught me like so much. I've learned so much about fighters, about how they look at life, how like you think of something, you're like, that's not hard, you know, that's hard. So now I still, you know, take things from I learned in the fight camp and just the whole event to like apply to my life today, where if I'm doing something that I feel like is hard, I'm like, I know I can do it. I've done things harder. So that itself was a great experience. I didn't win the fight. You know, it's the thing where, and I'm sure you growing up, and with me growing up, maybe doing another sport like skateboarding, you have muscle memory. Like you could put me on a skateboard blindfolded, or, you know, and I would still be able to do something. Same with you with, you know, fighting, I'm sure, right? It's like, It's in your blood, you know, your instant reaction is to, you know, do it the right way. Whereas learning the muscle memory in a month and a half was the hardest part, because I trained as hard as I possibly could in 45 days. I felt like on the last week, there might be a chance that I could win because I felt good. But you get into the fight in the ring and the lights are on and you just forget everything.
It's a different animal.
I don't have the muscle memory, I feel like, to be able to get in there. And even if I'm nervous or I'm distracted, you know, my instinct was like, I went back to day one right there and I was like, fuck. But
where you did the training for this fight?
At my warehouse.
But like, who trained you?
Todd Medina.
He's a former pro boxer or something like that.
Yeah, he was actually, I think he's in the UFC like early days. OTM Fight Shop.
Okay.
There in Huntington, off of Beach Boulevard. I bought a few things there before, like some weights and stuff. I was like, that's the first place I'll go to. And they took me under their wing and we put a ring in the warehouse. It was sick.
That's cool. Did you do any like real sparring before the fight?
I would say it was like 80%, you know, sparring. I got rocked in the ribs. I had to take a week off. I like couldn't breathe. Was, you know, bloody nose, everything. It was pretty hard. We went pretty hard. We didn't go, I think, like full force, just because like I was more so scared of getting like hurt in the last week, you know.
Right.
But we had some hard days where it was like, you know, let's go.
That's cool.
So I got rocked. I had headgear on for one fight, and we had another. You know, Razor Rob.
Yeah, I know Razor Rob.
He came to spar with me. This was like the coach's idea, and I was like, I'll do anything, you know. Sure, I'll try. And I'm sure he was going like 20% or something low, but he cracked me so hard, my head, like as a video, my head went like more than like 45 degrees.
More than it should, natural way it should go.
And I had headgear on, and I swear if I didn't have headgear on, I would have gotten knocked out for sure. But
how the fight, like, I know you lose, but like how did it went? Like, the fight start, what happened there?
The fight started, I pretty much was backpedaling, trying to just, you know, gain my distance to be able to know where the guy's at. And the guy was much more experienced. So I was like, and you know, you see, you're looking in their eyes, right? And I'm like, this dude wants to kill me, bro.
Oh, and he was mean right away.
Yeah, he didn't touch my gloves. I was like, fuck. Like, I have nothing against the guy. I don't even know him, you know. He looks like a nice guy, be his friend.
Right.
And he doesn't touch gloves, and he's looking at me like, you know, that's the fight game. He wanted to kill me, you know.
Right. He went in there like ready to fight, and you went there like kind of like, I'm gonna fight you, but with a different mentality.
Yeah, I don't have the mentality, and I struggle to look at someone and be like, I want to hurt you. And that's, I think, the problem, and why I'm probably not a fighter is it was hard for me to look at him and say, I want to beat your ass right now. I kind of didn't want to. I don't know. For me, it was not my nature to be like, I want to take your head off. So coming in there without that mentality, I think was probably not obviously the right thing, because you want to, if you're in a fight, you have to be all ready to take the guy out, you know.
Did you keep training afterwards, or that was like,
I trained a little bit after. I think it wasn't like my, you know, I was so busy with YouTube and still continuing to make videos that to be able to not have to work out twice a day and just worry about the fight, I think was like a weight lifted off my chest after the fact. But I'll still get in and I'll put gloves on and hit the bag with some friends and stuff. So, and I wouldn't do it again too if the opportunity arose too. And
you will do it again?
I would do it again, yeah. And to hopefully have more time to be able to learn the sport and, you know, get to like to the point where it feels natural to be able to do these movements, where I can come into a fight confident, like, all right, this isn't just like a YOLO, you know, type of move. Like, I'm not just risking it. I could actually come in with some like skill and effort and be able to do something. So who knows one day if that comes up, but for now it's like, but it made me a fight fan. That's the thing, is I never watched fighting before that. I never watched boxing. I never watched UFC. After doing that, I became the biggest boxing and UFC fan after knowing what these, slightly knowing what these people go through, you know, the nerves when you get to the ring, when you walk out. Got like a little taste of it where I was like, this is, you know, this is dope shit. And now I'm the biggest fight fan.
That's
so
cool. Did you any weight cutting or diet, or you just went on the weight like a little heavier than you normally are, so you don't have to cut any weight?
I didn't cut. I had to be a little lighter. I think I was like 177 and I had to be like 175. So it wasn't anything crazy. I think the last week I just watched what I ate, but it definitely wasn't like a crazy weight cut.
Which that probably helps you not to get hurt too.
Yeah.
Because if you were to do like 10, 15 pounds and you would have to do dehydration, that might even hurt you more when someone touch you in the face.
Yeah. Yeah. Luckily I didn't have to cut weight, but no, sparring, training, literally like went 1 week, never thought about fighting, to the next week having signed up for a fight in the Hard Rock Stadium, which is like a big ass arena too.
That's crazy.
Like it's the Miami Dolphin Stadium. And it was like, I was like, this is going to be full on. So
it was packed when you were fighting?
I don't know if I don't remember like looking at the crowd because like I was so
the adrenaline hits and you're just like in Neverland.
I was one of the earlier fights, so I wouldn't say it was like packed when I fought, but later on towards the main event, it got pretty packed. But yeah, there was people out, and you know it's a big ass arena. And
who was the main fight that day?
It was like Bryce Hall versus Austin McBroom.
That guy can fight a little bit.
Yeah, he did a bare knuckle fight.
I remember that.
And he did some shit, which is cool.
That's pretty ballsy.
Yeah.
Being someone that do beaters, and that's pretty well for himself to. One thing is fighting with boxing gloves, headgear. That motherfucker want to use his bare knuckles. Like,
yeah, you're signing yourself up for some shit.
Yeah, and I believe he lost that one, right?
No, he won.
The bare knuckle?
Yeah, he won.
But it was one before or after that
he lost. He lost the boxing fight. The one that I was at, he lost.
It's a better fight to lose.
Yeah.
Because doing bare knuckle is...
Yeah, he redeemed himself, which is cool. And that's what I would want to do one day. Maybe not in bare knuckle. But I'd love to redeem myself and, you know, actually go through with a fight camp and a fight and win, because I'm sure that's the craziest feeling ever.
It's a cool feeling.
Yeah.
I remember there was a point that they were doing a lot of events. Are they still doing those events?
I wouldn't say as much. There's still some of them, you know, but I think like people that are in my space realize like, okay, I cannot be a YouTuber and a boxer because they both take up all my time, you know? And I think either some people went, all right, I'm going to quit YouTube to become a boxer, or I have to quit boxing to stay a YouTuber. I felt like most people that took it insanely serious had to kind of leave their YouTube career in the past to pursue boxing. So some people are willing to do it. Some people are not willing to do it. I wouldn't say that there's as many events as that there used to be. And as well as too, and I've seen them all. Some of them kind of went a little bit too like gimmicky, which is the problem. They kind of was like doing 2v1 or tag team match or like
those are crazy.
Just some crazy shit. And sometimes, I mean, I'm sure a real fight fan looks at that like, okay, it's cool, but it's, you know, it's a little gimmicky sometimes, and I think that lost the credibility to like the whole space a little bit.
Yeah, they make it a little too hard to believe like someone is
Yeah.
actually putting everything on the line to
Yeah.
actually make it happen.
And you'll get like half the fights on the card look like it's their like first day throwing a punch, which is like pretty much what I did, right? But I think when you watch a fight, you kind of want to watch a good fight and not just like, you know, people throwing haymakers. And it's entertaining for sure, but I think that they lost a little bit of the credibility by kind of paying a random person to get in the ring and to just throw hands, because I think they wanted to sign up as many people as possible. They offered them money, people would take it, they get in the ring and just do some shit. So
I mean, yeah, when they start doing the gimmick ones like 2 versus 2 or tag team, that make it a little confusing because the normal fight fan is used to do 1 versus 1 and they kind of like understand. But when they go like more than that, it definitely make it weird too. That would probably the fighting was probably hard on the whole team because it's like one thing having a team to create something and then like, hey, I gotta train twice a day.
Yeah.
Did you? So during the fight camp, you were doing still videos.
Yeah.
So there was no way you're gonna like focus on boxing for that. I really tried to do both while also making sure I was, you know, respecting the career that I built for many years, to not just leave it in the dust, you know, because I was like, listen, I'm a YouTuber, I'm not a boxer. Right.
I would love to try this boxing thing, but I need to obviously be smart about it and not leave everything for it. So I would train at like 6 to like 8, film videos all day, and then train again at like 8 p.m. at night, and then do it again. And it like, it was a lot.
You're consumed by that. Yeah. I mean, I'm in fight camp right now, and I don't think if I can film videos every day.
Yeah, you want to, you know, mentally be ready. You want to
be there, because
not just physically too. You
know? You will be drained. Like if I film a video from 3 to 7 and then go to the gym, my mind is gonna be already like what I'm doing right now. Yeah. So that must be. I mean, a lot of people hate on it. Like they don't respect guys from other industries coming and fight. But I'm like, I think I was one of the few ones that I was like, I actually respect that, because I don't think I can film all day. So like white hating on that. I was kind of like surprised. Like some guys will keep coming back, and you can pick something from them. Like they're putting their lives aside to do something that they have never done. Yeah, that they look a little funny sometimes. Yeah, but I mean, it's not easy to just change careers overnight and be like, okay, in 30 days I have to get in the ring, because when the lights are on, it's a different animal. Yeah, people are quick to hate on it, but at the same time, would they put themselves in that position? Who knows? You know, and I think that you don't know till you know, and people will be quick to type some shit. You know, internet trolls, haters, everyone will act like they would have done it better, right? Until you actually throw them. Okay, you do it then, you know. But most of the time, the people throwing hate on shade is the ones that most likely will never do it. No, they have an opinion about it. Yeah, they will tell you how to do it or when to do it, but they will never do it, and that's what separates the normal from the great. I mean, it's so easy to go online, and most of them are using a fake profile. I mean, they're not coming at you. So I mean, the best thing I normally do, I don't read comments. Yeah. The people that I love and I look up, they will text me an advice or something, or they will call me. Yeah. I mean, those internet trolls, sometimes they pay the price. Sometimes a fighter invite them to the gym and they're like, okay, come. Yeah. And they're dumb. I don't think they're bossy. They're dumb enough to be like, okay, I come. Yeah. And then there's some online videos that they get fucking beat up. And then it's like, see? Don't fucking talk shit. It's not gonna go right. Do you think for you as a fighter that, or at least fighters in the same, you know, industry that you do, see comments and it actually affects them? You know, do you think there's fighters that do get affected by it? I think we as a humans, if you read negativity and you read things that are not good for you, even if you have a strong mindset or you have a good personality, that negativity is still gonna cross your mind, and some of it's gonna sunk on it. So the best advice that I always tell people is like, don't read comments. I mean, if you read comments, you're looking for acceptation or validation, and that's something that you don't need. If you're working hard and you're solid with yourself, there's no need to be looking for that validation. And if you're looking for it, it's because you're probably not in the right space of mind, and
Yeah.
you're not where you should be in your career. So reading comments,
Yeah.
I would say don't do it. I mean, Joe
Yeah.
Rogan says the best. He says like I post and I drop the phone.
That's
Like
smart.
you're not going comment by comment. You're not looking DMs. I mean,
And there's people that do that, and I've seen fighters do that. I'm like, what? Why? Why would you entertain that?
it's crazy.
And
It,
some people, yeah, they get too consumed, and I can only imagine how much that actually messes up your mental to be able to go into a fight game and just constantly replying to shit. I'm like, oh my god, I can't imagine.
that hurts you. I mean, that really will consume your soul. Like I mean, and you cannot argue with the crowd. You cannot argue with people online. In my opinion, is the weakest thing you can do. I mean, you're replying to someone with a blog profile,
Yeah.
no picture, and the name is just a bunch of commas and dots. I mean, if you're arguing with that person, you are the problem.
Yeah.
That person probably is just having fun and laughing at home.
Yeah.
I mean, I could have a burner account and just go crazy online,
Yeah.
but I'm laughing and you're like fighting me.
Yeah.
That's why, like, I mean, if I see you in the street and you say crazy shit to me, that's a different story. There's gonna be some chairs flying.
Yeah.
But like, if someone says something crazy online, I'm like, and I tell other people, even if I see a friend of mine replying online, I will call that person and be like, dude, you're replying to a 13-year-old, probably. I
Yeah.
mean, when I was a kid, I used to talk crazy shit online.
Yeah, me too.
There's this soccer player that now is my friend, and I remember I didn't even grew up watching soccer. I wasn't a fan of the sport, and in Ecuador, people is like, if your team loses, you argue for 2 days with the other team fan base, and people is going like, "Fuck you! I hope you die! I'm gonna kill him!" Like, guys, that was turned me off with soccer in Ecuador, because it was like, if you're blue and they're yellow, you're enemies.
Yeah.
And I was like, dude, you're not even playing.
Yeah.
Those guys playing, win or lose, are rich.
Yeah.
And you guys outside all broke, are fighting over who scored an extra goal. And I'm like, I was just like, how can you do that?
Yeah.
And that's why in the soccer world, I kind of like turned back. But when I was in high school, and I didn't have a burner account. Like, I mean, if I go back on my Twitter, I'm like, fuck, I will cancel myself, because I would say crazy shit to some other team members, and I was just doing for fun.
Yeah.
I didn't watch the game. I would probably see like news of some guy doing a mistake and just going bah, bah, bah.
That's hilarious.
And I was laughing with my friends, and I got people to reply before, and I was like, holy shit, so replied to me, and I was like, that also teach me a lesson for now that I'm in this position. I will never reply.
No. That's what they want,
That's what they want.
Yeah.
I will never reply. And if I do, I'm going to say something so fucked up that I'm probably going to bug you up.
Yeah. I mean, there was one time when I don't reply anymore, but there was, like you said, there was times where I was replying as well, and someone would message me something fucked up, and they'd be like, yo, like, you're the fucking worst, you suck, whatever. And I would reply to it and be like, why do you think that? And then they'd be like, OMG, I didn't know you'd reply. I'm such a big fan. Love you so much. I'm
That's
like, bro,
crazy.
what the? That's how they wanted to get my attention, is say some crazy shit to know I'd reply. And the whole time they were just a fan trying to get my attention. I'm like, that's probably half the comments, It's fans that are just like, let me see if I can get Chito to reply, Yeah, you suck, fuck you, And
then they go, in the past happened to me too. It's funny that you say that. Like, someone would say like, fuck you, you're ugly. I'm like, fuck you. It's like, oh my God, you did reply. I'm like, it wasn't better if you just say I love you. I would say I love you too.
Yeah.
But sometimes hate caught the eye better than some love. And
so that's the way life goes.
That's a messed up society we are right now. It's like,
Yeah.
I mean, it's just you're just exposed to the world.
Yeah.
Like, in all angles. How long ago you stopped like fully replying to people?
It's been like 4 years, I'd say. I used to like really get consumed by it. Like, there was a point where, and I'm 22, so 4 years ago I was like 18, 17. A point where you really care about what people say about you.
And you were big already.
Yeah, had millions of followers already. And, there's things that people would say, and I was like, before I realized that they're just trolls, they're just speaking out of their ass, I would get really affected by it. And I was like, I'm always thinking like, why do they think that? Like, should I change? Should I do something differently? And yeah, it would really affect me. And I think nowadays it's gonna happen one way or another. People are gonna feel one way. That's their opinion. They can have it. I'll do my thing.
Exactly.
So,
I mean, there's really no point to like engage in that, because that would really hurt you. Like
Yeah.
if you keep on engaging, or you become a full on troll.
Yeah.
I see fighters or YouTubers that they are the trolls.
Yeah.
They're the real
Yeah.
life trolls, and they go after everybody.
Yeah.
It's either you do that, or you stay on the other side and you just don't ever do it. But when
Yeah.
you're in that middle ground that everything affects you,
Yeah.
that hurts you.
Yeah, it does. You can't stay focused.
You can stay focused. I mean, and you experience that early in life. I mean,
Yeah.
17 years old and you have millions of followers. Not many people can handle that, and
Yeah.
you've been doing a great job on keeping it cool and just keep doing your thing and keep putting things out.
Thank you. What's
I
next
mean,
with you?
I mean, August 3rd, I'm fighting. I'm in camp right now.
Do you know where it is yet?
Abu Dhabi.
Oh shit!
You coming?
I'd love to. I came to the last one. I'll go to the next one.
I mean, I don't. Family's not coming this time, so
Yeah.
I will have extra tickets.
That's sick. I'd love to. I've never been to Abu Dhabi, so it'd be a great time to go.
Me neither. So
Yeah.
me and all the team, we're getting all the, how you call the dress?
What's the outfit called? I don't know, man.
Yeah.
I gotta figure this out.
I don't know.
It's,
I know what you're talking about. White with the red.
Yeah.
yeah
The
yeah.
whole team is. I'm not even bringing clothes. I'm gonna wear that all week
How does it work time difference wise? Because they're gonna want to fight at prime time. You know,
for the US.
for the
I'm
U.S.
pretty sure we're fighting in a weird time. How many hours ahead is Abu Dhabi or before?
Yeah, because I know when they were doing the Fight Island out in Abu Dhabi, the fights were at like 6 a.m. or some shit, like something crazy.
When I fought in Australia, I fought 9 in the morning,
Oh my god.
Australia time, which it was a weird time to fight. But
13 hours. It's 6 a.m. in Abu Dhabi right now.
wow, I mean that's what time is it right now?
That's
Wow,
that's 7 p.m. is when the card starts normally.
I'm fighting the main card, so I'm probably fighting noon.
Yeah.
But that's actually a good time to fight because
Yeah.
you're done by
Yeah.
3 p.m. So you get off it, you get a nice steak.
Has there been a time where you fought almost too late? Because I know when it's like on the East Coast, you're gonna fight at 1, 2 a.m.
I mean,
what has been the worst time for you to fight?
the last fight was pretty late. It was
You went into the cage at midnight.
I exactly, and New York was even worse because I wasn't even the main fight in New York, and I was fighting like at 12:30, because we leave to the venue for Miami and for New York around like 8 p.m. So you're all day sitting down in your room. You're just waiting and waiting and waiting and waiting, and when you fight in other like I fought in Vegas before, and you're fighting at 1 p.m.
Yeah.
and you're like, it feels so good to fight early.
Really? That's great.
Yeah, because mentally you're like,
Yeah.
you don't need to wait. You wake up, eat breakfast, do a little shakeout, and that's it.
Yeah.
But when you gotta sit, I watch movies. That's my way to like get off the fight. I have a list of few movies. I watch Gladiator, I watch Snatch. I have a few good movies that I like to watch Sopranos.
Yeah.
And I there's everything I watch on fight day. I try to avoid it on regular life just because I get so like, I don't know. I like the action aggressive movies because just kind of like make me just forget about it, and then like, okay, time to go, boys.
Wow.
Let me dress up and we go. But
Wow.
Abu Dhabi, a lot of fighters don't like to go that far. I'm kind of excited just because it's just a different experience, different culture. You get to experience something like I never experienced before. So when they call me for Abu Dhabi, they ask like, you want to wait till New York or December? And I was like, fuck no. Abu Dhabi sounds just about fine, and I'm excited. I mean, the whole team is going.
It's dope.
This guy's coming, so
Let's go.
I'm excited to kick ass out there and get back in line for the title.
Let's go. Well, yeah. What's your ideal roadmap, if you do have one, for what you're hoping to do in the future?
Main thing right now, win this fight, get back in the win column, just fight for the title, and then get one more in December and sit down for number one contender.
That's dope.
Because 3 fights in a year is perfect for me. Like I feel like if I have to like sit down for 6 months and then get in training camp, sometimes I burn myself training because I'm always training. I don't know how fighters can fight. They go vacation and then they come back and they do another vacation. I fight. I like to wait a week and I go back to the gym.
That's what you do. you know?
Exactly, but sometimes the problem with that is like you do burn yourself. So for the first time after this fight, I took a full month off. I didn't do nothing. Normally I start running like long distance 10 days later. This time I chill. I chill. I think about the future. I kind of like reset my mind and build my own gym. And I was like, next fight I'm gonna go fresh with good spirits, no burning, because last fight they announced it in November, and December, January, I was already training hard.
Yeah.
And it's almost like by the time you get to actual fight camp, which is 8 weeks, I was like in great shape. So now you learn with time, and you're like, okay, you can be in the best shape all the time. So for this camp, we do like more like up and downs, kind of like 1 week a little easier. We push the next week, and don't doing everything, like kind of like don't wrestle too much, don't grapple too much, don't spar too much, and then you ramp up and you go prime for the fight.
Yeah.
And that's what with me, when I have like short notice in a way, like they called me for these 5 few weeks, I was like perfect.
Would you think would you rather have more time or less time?
Less time.
Less time.
Because
Less time
I'm-
to think about it, less time to
Well, but I'm always training.
Yeah.
I don't drink. I'm not going out of party. I don't need time to catch up.
Yeah.
I'm already doing the right thing. But sometimes when you're too consistent, and especially you need to be ready in a specific date, that can mess with you. So I've been learning about kind of like take the foot off the gas.
Yeah.
And not go, because I go crazy. I go like 13, 15-mile runs, and then it's like there's no reason to do that. But I do that for fun, which that's a problem. I mean, I run for cardio, but I just enjoy running. I just like to go.
Yeah.
I like to go far. Like most people sometimes hit me, I'm like, yo, I saw you like passing Corona del Mar. I was like,
Yeah.
fuck, I don't know.
I've seen you running a few times. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm far from home.
Yeah.
And people that know where I live, they DM me or text me. It's like, dude, I saw you by fucking Masters in PCH.
You need to ride home, bro.
Yeah, I'm like, I just enjoy that. I mean, endurance training that's one thing I'm gonna do when I retire.
Yeah, that's
just
awesome.
100-milers just for fun.
Yeah. Is there anything, specifically different that you're doing with this camp than any other camp?
I mean, for my peace of mind
Yeah.
and the best outcome, I open my own gym.
Yeah.
I-
That's awesome.
I got a warehouse near here. I put cage, mat, bags, mats in the wall for the wrestling, and I mean, it just feels good. You
Yeah.
open the
Yeah.
the rolling door, and you're like, that's
This is
your
yours.
place. It's
Yeah.
almost like that's my church. I mean,
Yeah.
I make it the way I want it. I'm gonna put the art I want on the walls, and I got few graffiti guys lined up to like tag the
Let's go.
walls and just make. I mean, just put my energy and my vibe into it, and
Yeah.
I mean, sometimes when you train in someone else's place,
Yeah.
it's just like there's not just the rules. I'm pretty good at following the rules and respect other people's spaces, but it's not your house.
Yeah.
It's not something that you can change the way you look or like put the things you
Yeah.
want. And now it's my place. I
Yeah.
mean, I'm gonna have my own art. I'm gonna have my own people
Yeah.
doing stuff in there. So
Yeah, the most amount of things you can remove that are unnecessary, the better. You can fill it with things that you enjoy, the people with you enjoy, instead of having to worry about
And-
all the other things. You
and
can
the
put
best thing about
100%.
it, you also control who comes and go.
Yeah.
I mean, you can control the people coming, the energy coming in, because sometimes you can be training and you're not close to everybody in other places, and it's like, is this good energy for me or this is bad energy? And I'm very
Yeah.
energetic. Like I'm like, if the energy doesn't really match with me and you, I can feel that.
Yeah.
And when you have your own place, you can just it's all happiness and
That's
kick
dope.
ass.
I love that. So we have a warehouse where we shoot our videos. That's one thing that pretty much changed the game for me as well. A lot of the times we would go to shoot in public, rent a place. I'm not one to want to be in other people's space. I feel like a burden. So to me, it's like if I can be in my space and do what I want when I want, I'll do anything that my mind imagines. That's why I film, pretty much behind closed doors, not for a sake that I don't like, seeing people, but if I can control the environment as much as possible, the better.
You can focus better.
You can do you don't have to worry about what time you need to leave, what time it's going to close, who's going to be there. Because, you know, filming especially too, you know, we want to make sure that the energy's high too. If we're filming around people that are looking at us weird or not bringing good energy, our energy is not going to match on camera. We want to be able to, you know, express, be
all you have.
You know, and if we're filming around tons of people that we don't know, I might start feeling weird. Same with you. If you're fighting around people you don't know, you might be like, you
and
know.
people film too. You don't know where those clips are gonna go.
Yeah.
You don't know if they're gonna send it to the other camp or not just that, but they can send it to someone that you cannot control where the video goes. So for fighting, it's like when you're sparring, you're going. We spar hard. We go crazy hard. So you will see how good I am. You will see everything.
Yeah.
And that if those clips get to someone, that's not good for you.
Yeah. It's competitive. You don't want outside information coming out. And same thing with videos too. It's like a lot of people making videos wanting to make the better video. And if people know our next move, you know, they might, you know, hop on, do it before us, post it before us. And, you know, that's.
And try to like how they can make it a little better.
Yeah.
They don't seem like they're copying it, but they're definitely out there. So
there's some crazy people that'll dissect anything. They'll screen record it. They'll slow it down. They'll zoom in. People are crazy, and if they want to, if they want to be out to get you, they'll do it. You know. So eliminating that, at least for the peace of mind, you know.
I mean,
it's probably amazing.
It's the best. It's the best move I have done in the last few years. I mean, it just feels good. Like, I mean, I got trained at the time I want. We set up practice when we want. There's not like, oh, there's another people training or we gotta wait. Now, if I wanna get a workout at 6 in the morning, 3 in the morning, I can do whatever I want.
Yeah, that's awesome.
What you got in your warehouse?
It's a pretty big space, so we split it into 2 spaces. Half of it is production, so we'll have a lot of sets, a lot of like camera equipment, lights, and the other half of it we have a skate ramp. We have like a deck. We have like a rope climb, a bunch of fun shit. You know, I wanted to make it like half fun, half work.
That's cool.
So I'll keep the skate ramp. I have some cars there too, like a mini truck, the Japanese trucks.
Oh, the little ones?
Yeah, I have one there.
Those are sick.
We had some other beater cars. We'll pretty much, we want enough space to be able to do anything. You know, if we need to store some cars in there, we'll store them in there. If we want to blow some shit up, we'll do it in there.
There's the warehouse right next to mine is also open.
Yeah.
And I was talking to a friend. I'm like, we should get and just park all our cars there.
Yeah. Badass.
Because it's just becoming, my driveway is packed. I want to take them off there because it's just too much space.
I remember that one night, I think I had a party, you had a party. And
Same
it was
day.
like a parking lot. It was like 4 or 5 rows back.
That was crazy. It was the same day.
Yeah.
And it was both of our girls' birthday, right?
It was my girlfriend's birthday, and
it was my wife too. Yeah,
that's funny.
It was,
that's so
and then
funny.
we both have like food trucks outside. Cars going. I was like,
it was epic.
And the good part was like, no one will complain about noise because it's 2 houses going at the same time. So good time in there.
You don't know who's who and who's doing what. But yeah, the parking I thought was hilarious. It literally turned into a parking lot.
It was a parking. Like, it was cars everywhere there.
Yeah. But I mean, at least with your gym, what's the first thing you want to put in it besides a cage, besides all that stuff?
I mean, right now it's fully decked out. There's a small space left where I'm gonna put a treadmill, assault bike, and a rower for extra cardio, for warm up, for my low base when I want to run a little bit after training, keep the heart rate going. And I already have ice and sun in the house, so I'm not gonna put that there.
That's one thing that I want to get is the ice and sauna.
You should.
Because obviously I'll probably put it at my house, but I'm in an apartment right now. I have a rooftop. I was like, I could put an ice bath. I could put a little sauna. Because I want to get into that. I think the times that I've done it, I felt $1 million after.
That thing is game changer. I mean, the health benefits you get from the sauna and the ice, they're crazy, amazing. I mean, I personally, I only think about the mind health benefits just because the sauna is, I would say, easy to, right? Once you overheat, it gets harder, but jumping into the ice give you anxiety.
Yeah.
I mean, the day before you're like, oh my God, I'm gonna fucking jump in 30 degrees water with ice on the bottom, and getting to do hard things, like you said before, it will make you hard. It will make things easier. So if you can jump in the ice for 3 minutes and jump in the sun, then jump in the ice, you're like pushing yourself in normal life is not going to be any harder than that. Getting to work, getting to have discipline, and the discipline factor for me is like it's everything. If
Yeah.
I can do hard things consistently, that's why I do the long distance running. And I mean, one day you were walking and I was like, dude, you want to jump in the ice?
Yeah.
And you say when? I said like now.
Yeah, yeah.
Just coming through the cycle and you doing that alone, I'm pretty sure you had a great day
Yeah.
afterwards.
Oh yeah. Yeah. It changes the way you look at things because you've done something that's so extremely hard to mentally overcome that everything else throughout your day will be 10 times easier to overcome.
Dopamine is the
Yeah.
best drug.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
ice and sauna give you that.
That's the thing is, you know, and that's why I respect fighters so much is you feel like, you know, they have this mentality of like, you know, there's no stopping. I can do it. You know, it could be harder. Let's fucking go. And that's what I've learned just from one, doing the small fight camp that I had. And then, you know, being around fighters like you as well, is you feel like their mentality is so, you know, inspiring. And there's things that I'm doing that I'm like, you know what, like people are doing harder shit.
Why not
We
push
can
it?
do it. You know?
I mean, that's everything in life. You left and right, someone is doing something hard.
Yeah.
There's no point to sit down and don't do nothing with
Yeah.
your life.
Yeah. And that's why, you know, I just got back in the gym, not fighting, but training, just working out, lifting and all that stuff. And, you know, it's inspired me to be able to take more care of my health because at the end of the day, I don't really care about looking, you know, ripped and having, you know, the best physique. It would be cool if it happens, but for me, it's more mental. And I want to do it to be able to, you know, stay strong, but also be able to mentally overcome something that I didn't, you know, feel like I wanted to do. Because you don't wake up being like, oh, let's go. You know, sometimes I wake up actually excited to work out, but most times I'm like, you know, you don't really always want to do it. So when you do something you don't want to do, your mind is just like already overcome something. And
I mean, most of the days, what you say is pretty much motivation. Motivation comes and go.
yeah,
It's one day you wake up and you're king of the world. You can do anything you want, but discipline will always be there if you just decide to push it. And those days that you don't want to do it and you went through, those are the ones that really will set you for good.
yeah, yeah. It's amazing, brother.
Thanks for doing this, bro.
Of course, bro. Thank you for having
Appreciate
me.
you.
I'm excited. I can't wait to see the other episodes, who else you bring on and whatnot. So
It will be good, bro. I mean, just get to talk to the right people at the
Yeah.
right time and being around cool people. I mean, that's everything we do.
let's go, brother. Thank you.
Appreciate you.